NASCAR Cup Series race officially included from Nashville Super Speedway, and Ryan Blaney puts up a dominating clinic, wins with some chaos in the middle of the event, and picks up his first win of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the 2025 Cracker Barrel 400 from Nashville Super Speedway. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race, so let's go and talk about it. So, the only driver to have to go to the rear of the field was AJ Allmendinger, who had unapproved adjustments on the car. They had messed with something on the splitter of the car, I'm pretty sure, and they would have to form a stop-and-go penalty at the start of the race because of that, and there's probably going to be more penalties coming down, as I believe one of the car chiefs got actually their hard car confiscated, which would start bad. So at the start of the race, they had Chase Briscoe lead the field from the inside with Denny Hamlin on the outside, and Chase Briscoe had a fantastic start and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, lap number 3, AJ Allmendinger would come down pit road to serve that penalty and would drop back to third position. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson starting in the middle pack of field, he would get sideways loose around lap 5 or lap 10 of the event, but was able to continue going. But at this particular moment at point, Chase Briscoe was starting to pull away from the rest of the field. That 19 car looked really, really strong and continued to have the lead, but Denny Hamlin was closing in. But at the beginning of this race, the track would be a bottom feeder track, and it was very tough and very, very difficult to pass. Hamlin would try everything he could early in the race to get by Chase Briscoe, but once again, he had a very difficult time making the run of the inside and outside and could not get by him. So they would stay very close, but it was still very difficult. And then at lap 40 of the event, Kyle Larson would be the first driver to come down pit road and make pit stops. And the next couple laps, most of the leaders would come down pit road, including Denny Hamlin and William Byron. And Tyler Reddick would also stay out while Chase Briscoe came out the prior lap. And Chase Briscoe, after all that had been cycled, he'd be the leader. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace would unfortunately end up getting his speeding penalty and would have to come back down pit road to serve that penalty. Tough break for Bubba, who was having a fantastic run. And the lap 47, Tyler Reddick came down pit road. And then a couple guys actually were playing a long game, including Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Ty Gibbs, Justin Haley, Corey Heim. All those guys that stay out for quite some time. With Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, guys like that, they were basically staying, and Tyler Reddick as well, those guys were coming and catching, but they weren't gaining as much as the clean air was really helping them out. And then eventually in lap number 70 of the event, Ryan Blaney would come down pit road and would hand the lead back to Chase Briscoe after Cindric came down pit road. And we saw a really good battle as they were trying to get by Kyle Larson to try to put him a lap down. William Byron was able to get by Denny Hamlin coming down the front straightaway, slid up the track and got by him. But then William Byron started dropping back a little bit as Hamlin got a really good run on Byron and was able to move up to second position. And then Denny Hamlin got a fantastic run on Chase Briscoe going through the corner, had a great run on him behind the lap traffic, and he was able to take the race lead with Tyler Reddick running in second position. They would try everything he could to get up there. Tyler Reddick did everything he could to get by Hamlin, but it would not be enough. And coming off the final corner, Denny Hamlin would haul off a hard-charging Tyler Reddick and win stage number 1, followed by Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, and Christopher Bell. And then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road with Ryan Blaney winning the race off pit road, followed by Austin Cindric, who both took 2 tires, while the rest of the leaders basically took 4 tires, and Hamlin dropped back to third. And then on the restart, you had Ryan Blaney lead the field from the inside with Denny Hamlin on the outside, and Ryan Blaney got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. Ryan Blaney would pull out a little bit, but then the first caution for incident would come out on the track. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had an issue going down the back straightaway. It was Carson Hocevar, just ran straight into the back of him. Carson Hocevar went up, got a little bit of an overshoot into turn number 3, runs in the back of Stenhouse, backs Ricky Stenhouse Jr. into the outside wall. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was not happy about that, justifiably so. A little bit over-aggressive from Carson Hocevar there. That's not the first time Hocevar's done stuff. I saw people trying to blame Stenhouse, but in my opinion, Hocevar's got to be a little bit far, not that far back, and sending it in corners like that. But Carson would get a good finish at the end of the day, but still a little bit over-aggressive there. So then, all lead lap cars have then come down pit road with Denny Hamlin winning the race off of pit road. And then on the next restart, you had Denny Hamlin lead the field from the inside with, I believe it was Austin Cindric on the outside, and Denny Hamlin got a pretty solid restart, was able to clear for the lead. And then going to turn number 3, another caution would happen. Alex Bowman got loose underneath Noah Gragson as Gragson went up the racetrack, got into Alex Bowman. They both got up the track and then nearly collected Kyle Larson in the wreck, but Larson luckily didn't get any damage in that incident. But both Gragson's and Bowman's nights would come to a close. Tough break for Bowman, who has had a lot of bad finishes as of recently. And then we went back green in lap 119 with Denny Hamlin leading the field from the inside with Austin Cindric on the outside. And Denny Hamlin got a fantastic restart once again and got the lead. And then another caution would happen. Going into turn number 1, Christopher Bell received some contact from Erik Jones after Christopher Bell was trying to put a little bit of an over-egregious block on Denny Hamlin going into, Erik Jones into 1. He came down the track in front of Jones. Jones got into him. He spins out, gets some damage in the back wall. This would bring out the caution. I don't know what Bell was doing there. A little bit over-aggressive from Bell, if you ask me. That definitely could have been avoided. And then we went back green once again with Denny Hamlin leading the field on the inside with Austin Cindric on the outside. And Denny Hamlin got a fantastic restart and got the lead. And Ryan Blaney got a great run and dive into turn number 3 and was able to get up to second position. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick, he would come down pit road because he had a loose wheel, same with Kyle Larson. Before the green flag, they both had loose wheels and had tire issues, same with Reddick who was having a flag. He would come down pit road. But then he would get benefited. On lap 131 of the event, another caution would come out for Corey Heim, who was having a really strong run. Corey Heim was running 12th at a time, came up the racetrack in front of Brad Keselowski. He thought he was clear. He was clearly not clear by what the spotter had told him. He went up the track, was not clear, goes up in front of him, and ends up wrecking himself. Tough break for Corey Heim, who was having a top 15 run. At the time, I think it was the highest running 2311 car at that point, so there's just a big mistake there from Corey. Thinks he's going to learn. He took accountability for the wreck. That was unfortunately on Corey. Just a big mistake right there. And then on the restart, you had Denny Hamlin lead the field from the inside with, I believe, William Byron on the outside. And Denny Hamlin got a pretty strong restart, was able to clear for the lead, with William Byron moving up to third position with a pretty strong run. And we saw some great battling right behind. But then Denny Hamlin had the lead, but all of a sudden, Ryan Blaney was coming on strong. He was catching Denny Hamlin, especially in a longer run. And we see a really good challenge for the lead up front between Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. They all battled back and forth for the race lead for the next 10 to 15 laps of this race. And they put on a really solid and very, very good show. Eventually, William Byron got a great run on Denny Hamlin, moved them up the track a little bit and got the race lead. But the next couple laps after some great moves, Ryan Blaney, he got the good run. He was able to take the race lead, and he started pulling away. And Ryan Blaney get out to point about a 2-second lead, and coming off the corner, Ryan Blaney hold off the field and win stage number 2, followed by William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Joey Logano. And then all the lap cars have then come down pit road with Joey Logano actually winning the race off pit road, followed by Todd Gillen, who stayed out under the caution. And then on the restart, you had Todd Gillen, who was up front with Joey Logano, and Logano got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead over Ryan Blaney. And then another caution would come out, the final caution for incident that would take place as Ryan Blaney would end up spinning under caution in turn number 1, goes up the racetrack, just lost the car out of nowhere, goes up the track. This brings out the final yellow of the race, tough break for Ryan Preece, who is actually having a decent run. And then on the final restart, you had Joey Logano lead the field from the inside with Ryan Blaney on the outside. And Ryan Blaney got a much better restart and was able to clear for the race lead as Erik Jones got up to second, but then Logano got back up to second. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin and those guys, they were trying to keep up with Ryan Blaney, who was starting to pull away from the field, and he started gaining a ton of ground. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson was also coming back up to the front and was charging his way up to a potential really good finish. And then we see the final green flag pit stops of the race. First, we see Ben Bayshore and Carson Ospar come down pit road on lap 243. Then a lot of guys like Chastain and Larson, they would come down pit road. And then Ryan Blaney would come down pit road, followed by Denny Hamlin as well. And actually, Hamlin stayed out an extra lap. He would come down pit road on lap 255 of the race. Once the cycle had happened, Ryan Blaney would have a pretty big lead over Carson Hocevar, who was running in second position, who come out a little bit later. But then Ryan Blaney got stuck in traffic. The lap traffic was being very difficult to pass all night long, and we knew it was going to be very difficult for him to get by. But once Carson Hocevar got up to that traffic, it became very difficult for them to get there, and Hocevar got stuck behind as Denny Hamlin was trying to close in. Ryan Blaney would maintain the race lead up front, would have actually a pretty sizable gap in front of the lead. He had a pretty solid run. It looked like there was going to be opportunity for Hocevar to get there as cars were starting to have some issues up front. But Carson Hocevar ran out of time to get up there, and coming off the final corner, Ryan Blaney holds off the field, puts up a dominating clinic, and comes off the final corner and picks up his first win of 2025. His first win at Nashville Superspeedway, and I believe his 14th career NASCAR Cup Series victory. Ryan Blaney finally picks up a win. About time for Ryan Blaney. This 12 team has had a lot of speed in 2025, but they have not had the results to show for it this year. Whether it's engine issues, whether it's self-inflicted mistakes from the team on pit road, it doesn't matter. This team executed perfectly. They played the right strategy. They had a fantastic car all night long. They showed great pace and really good speed, and it leads to Ryan Blaney finally picking up the win. They earned this one. This 12 team's been good enough to win a lot of races this year. I don't think this will be the last time this 12 car is going to victory lane. I think he could win next week in Michigan. He has always had good speed at that track. Won there back in 2021. So congratulations, Ryan Blaney, on picking up a well-deserved and well-earned victory. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results to get my score and thoughts on today's race. So Ryan Blaney picks up the win. Carson Osmar finished second. Yes, I know he had the incident with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but outside of that, Carson kept his head down and put together an amazing performance tonight. Another great run. I think he's going to win a race before the end of this year. That 77 team has found something these last couple weeks. He was probably going to contend for the win of the Coke 600 before he had issues, but he's basically in playoff contention, only 3 or 4 points back of the cutoff line right now. So ultimately, a great run for Carson. One of his best runs he's put together. Great run for Carson in second. Denny Hamlin finished third. We weren't even sure if Hamlin was going to race with him being on baby watch currently at the moment, but Denny Hamlin had a fantastic car, ran top 5 all night long. That car had really good speed. Not enough for Ryan Blaney at the end, but still a really good run for Hamlin, who multiple things in his car failed at the end and still comes home with a top 5 finish. Great run for Denny Hamlin. Joey Logano finished 4th. Quite top 5 run for this team. They didn't have the overall speed to contend for the victory, but Logano had pretty good speed to run in the top 10 most of the night and comes home with a really strong top 5 and 4th. Great run for Joey Logano. William Byron finished 5th. They lost a little bit of handling on the car near the end of the race, but they still come on with a really strong top 5. William Byron, this 2014, are once again being very, very consistent at this point. Good run for Byron. He finishes 5th. Bubba Wallace finishes 6th. Great run for Bubba Wallace and great comeback as well. He had 3 straight finishes outside of the top 30 coming into today's race, and it looked like that was going to be the case tonight. Wasn't the case at the end. They recovered. They bounced back. They were the strongest 23-11 racing car at the end of the day. A fantastic run for the driver of the 23. A great rebound date as well. He finishes 6th. Eric Jones finishes 7th. Eric Jones has found speed recently. He had really good speed at the Coke 600, and tonight comes home with a top 10. Eric Jones has had some pretty good speed recently, so a solid run for Eric Jones in 7th place. Kyle Larson finishes 8th. After struggling at the beginning of the race, they almost wrecked early. Almost got caught up in another wreck. Had a loose wheel. Had to come down pit road to fix that. But they bounced back, they recovered, and Larson and this team got resilient and comes home with a solid top 10. I know it's not a win for this team. They didn't have the handling of the car, but that's what Kyle Larson does. If he doesn't have a good car, he'll come home with a good finish. Solid day for Kyle Larson in 8th place. Todd Reddick finished 9th. He had good speed early in the race, but they lost handling a little bit as the race went on. But a solid top 10 for the 45 team, a rebound from the Coke 600. Good night for him. He finishes 9th. And Chris Bell finished 10th. Bell had top 10 speed after the damage. Also, they didn't have the car to go to victory lane, but solid night nonetheless for him in 10th place. Ross Chastain finished 11th. He had top 10 speed most of the night. They lost handling near the end of the race. Seemed like the Trackhouse cars fell off a little bit near the end. They had a lot more speed earlier in the race. But Chastain with another solid performance in the top 15. One of his better runs of the season. Kyle Busch finishes 12th. They had issues throughout this race. They spun out during practice yesterday. Kyle Busch almost got a multiple incidents today, and he comes home with a solid top 15 finish. I know it's not a win for this team, but it's a step in the right direction for Kyle Busch. Not a bad day for Kyle Busch in 12th. Zane Smith finished 13th. He ran in the top 10 quite a bit in this race. He had really good performance tonight. Ran in the top 20 all night long. There's been times this year where that 38 team has shown some good speed, so a solid night for him in 13th. Chris Buescher finished 14th. Solid top 15 run, not the pace to contend for the victory, but they ran top 20 all night long. Decent night for him. Chase Elliott finished 15th. This car fell off a cliff after the first stage. They were really good early, but they lost track position, never able to recover, and faded back in this run. Gets a top 15. I expected more from Elliott, to be honest, but just not a lot of speed tonight. He finishes 15th. Dale Swartz finished 16th. Considering this team was way off the pace early in the race, a decent recovery for the 99 team. Again, they didn't have the overall speed to contend for the victory, just no speed whatsoever, but they recovered a little bit and get a top 20 in 16th. Chase Briscoe finished 17th. They lost track position early in the race, and they never able to recover. They tried to play the long game, I'm pretty sure, as well, and they lost and never got back up there. He finishes 17th. Austin Center finishes 18th. Cole Custer with a decent run in 19th, ran top 20 live this race, so good run for him. And AJ Allmendinger bounces back a little bit and gets top 20, so all things considered, a decent night for him. Michael McDowell finished 21st, had top 15 speed. Don't know what happened to speed in the car at the end. He lost a lot of track position. Todd Gillen finished 22nd. Brad Keselowski finished 23rd. Just another okay day for Keselowski. He was up there leading, but they played the long game and never could get back up there because of it. His tires didn't really mean much. He finished 23rd. Riley Herbst finished 24th. Shane Van Gisbergen finished 25th. He legit had top 15, top 20 speed all night, but they played the long game, and like I've already mentioned, tires did not mean anything. I think they should have come down pit road with everybody else. If they come down pit road on the normal sequence and don't stay out long, I think he's in contention maybe for a top 15, but a decent night for SVG, all things considered, but they've got to try to find a way to get a little bit more race speed, but a decent night for him nonetheless. Ty Dillon finishes 26th. John Hunter Nemechek finished 27th. Ryan Preece has spun out, finished 28th. Austin Dillon finished 29th. He struggled in this event. Josh Berry finished 30th. He spun out, didn't have one of his worst weekends of the season so far. Just not a great weekend for the 21 team. He finished 30th. Ty Gibbs, who had really good speed early, fell off a cliff near the end of this race. He finished 31st. Justin Haley finished 32nd. Cody Ware finished 33rd. JJ Yeley finished 34th. Chad Finch finished 35th. Alex Bowman, who crashed, finished 36th. Corey Heim finished 37th after running really well early. He never really recovered and just crashed out today. He finished 37th. Noah Grayson finished 38th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes last in 39th. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I give my score and thoughts on today's race. This race definitely had its moments for sure. I gotta say, stage number 1 until the final few laps of the race, I gotta be honest, not the most exciting. When a guy can stay out on really, really old tires and they're not falling off at all and they're faster than guys on fresh tires, that is definitely an issue. But I think the battle at the end of stage number 1, especially with Kyle Larson helping that was compelling. Stage number 2 was absolutely wild, but we had a really great battle at the end of stage number 2, and I think they put on a good show between Byron, Blaney, and Hamlin. And then stage number 3 kind of went back to where we were at the beginning of the race. Once the track kind of became a bottom feeder track, it was very tough and very, very difficult to pass. So because of that, I don't think today's race is the greatest, if I'm going to be honest, but Nashville's been hit or miss at times. I think it improved as the night went on at times too, but then the end wasn't the most exciting. At least the best car won, so that's a positive for sure. Wasn't the greatest race in the world. My score for tonight's NASCAR Cup race in Nashville is going to be around a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it was decent. It wasn't spectacular. It had its moments for sure. I think the truck race was the best race of the weekend, in all honesty, with that good finish. Nashville wasn't the most exciting weekend overall, but my score is going to be 7 out of 10 for the NASCAR Cup race in Nashville. And I got to say, Prime, not as strong as they were at the Coke 600, but they still did a pretty good job, all things considered. And the broadcast is still way miles ahead of Fox. And tonight, I think they did a solid job, and I think their broadcast was pretty good. Carl Edwards did a good job. Everybody did a good job on the booth, like Dale Jr., Steve Vitar, and Dale Jr. was better tonight than he was last week. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race to be from Nashville Super Speedway. One thing, guys, for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment below your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Ryan Blaney on finally picking up his first race of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple of days. We're going to talk about that silly season report from Jordan Bianchi. We're going to talk about a Cletus McFarland report that came out about him maybe going Truck Series racing next year, maybe being owner of a team in the Truck Series with Dodge coming back. We're also going to talk about disqualification for Daniel Dye tomorrow. And then, of course, if any major news breaks tomorrow, we'll discuss it live. Then on Tuesday, we are going to have the NASCAR. We're going to have, of course, maybe an entry list for Michigan. We may have the truck race picks coming out, but I might push that to Wednesday if they're only being 2 weeks. And then, of course, we got an early week with racing happening early in the week on Saturday and Sunday. We got content coming on people like Haley Ding and Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Connor Zillich, Junior Motorsports, Eric Omroll, Carson Quaffle, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creedy, name it. We're talking about all that on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.